Welcome to another episode of Hobby Nonsense, everybody. It's your boy, Sports Boy. Jesse Gibson is my name, and non-sports cards is the game. Today, it's going to be a fun episode because this is going to be an episode where I have not had answers to questions, and I think I'm finally going to get those answers. We all will. Specifically when it comes to sketches. I have got a name that I think will ring true to a lot of you sketch fans out there. Eric Medina, which I think is best known for Star Wars, Garbage Pail Kids, maybe a few other things. But he sketches, draws, creates art for a number of different IPs, but specifically Topps, a lot of Topps work. But that guy, I've already talked to him. Like I when getting him on, asking if he would come on the pod, we had a nice phone call. It lasted 30 minutes, and I was still like, there were so many questions I wanted to continue to ask. So, guys, today's going to be a lot of fun getting to pick the brain of one of these sketch guys. I think there's going to be things that he can't talk to us about, but I'm going to still probe. I'm still going to try. We're going to find out where that line is, where he cannot cross it. But anyways, it'll be interesting. Before we get to our interview, I have actually a number of things that have added up to a lot of things that I apologize in advance for, because we got to hit a number of these before we get into this. So first off, I just thought it would be fun to let you guys know, speaking of sketches, your boy has started a new collection. It will be a focus. I don't know if I'll say like a full-on, I'm going to collect every single one of his cards, but it will be a focus to get some of the more memorable ones. And that is the character of Jack Porkins from the Star Wars universe. If you have not met Mr. Porkins, seen some of his cards in a break and or collecting of your own, we bear a striking resemblance, and that's unfortunate. Or is it fortunate? He's a handsome fella. Anyway, I found a sketch of his, an Adam Everett Beck sketch that I bought over the weekend. I'm very happy with it. It will hopefully be here in the next few days. I'll show it off on social media and things like that. So anyways, that's a new collection of your boys. I don't know. The more we talk about sketches, the more I'm seeing them. The art, the fact that some are definitely better than others. It's not like they're all like mass produced, and everybody's like, oh, it's the exact same piece of art from everybody. There's a little bit of something for each person, whether it's, they like black and white drawings, they like pastels, they like more interpretive takes, they like spot on recreations of the actual people. I don't know. I think it's really cool how this is becoming so large in the non-sport world. I'm sure many would probably say it's already been large for a number of years, but it is definitely growing. So anyways, that's one of the reasons why I was inspired to get Eric Medina to come on with us today. Another thing that was interesting, the non-sport world is definitely growing. When I had, or Mike and I had the one and only V Friends creator, Gary V, on the podcast, the Sports Cards Nonsense podcast last week, he talked about his belief in the growth of non-sports and just how much he's invested in non-sport cards recently. And I think it sounds like, more iconic, like vintage cards too. I think this space is really growing. And I just say that because over the weekend, I got a new follower on the Hobby Nonsense podcast, Mr. Michael Rubin himself, which I thought was really cool. I just the fact that he's paying attention to this space and throwing a follow this way, I thought was pretty interesting. I wanted to share with you guys because I know we all are in this together. We all want to see more of this hobby available to not only the sports collector, but the non-sport collector as well. As far as news goes, there's a few pieces of news I wanted to share. GameStop made an announcement this weekend that starting with the upcoming Pokemon Destined Rivals product, they're going to be limiting 1 unit per SKU. So I'm guessing that's like ETBs, maybe booster boxes, things like that. They're going to limit to where you can only get 1. I think it used to be 2 per SKU. Don't quote me 100%, but it's definitely now going to be going to 1. I think more and more people are finding that GameStop has a place in the hobby, especially when we think about we don't want to get rid of our local card shops altogether, but at the same time, they're not beholden to having to sell at retail prices. When I can go to GameStop and get something for maybe half or even less than half of what it might sell for at my local card shop, that's very tempting. It's hard to pass up, even if they are limited SKUs or limited amounts. So I promote GameStop not because there's any kind of sponsorship or anything like that. I just think things like that are pretty cool that they're doing. I also wanted to point out in the news, the hobby non-sport news over the weekend, there was a card, 2024 Disney card of Elsa. So Elsa, one of one Superfractor, sold, I believe, on Fanatics Live for just over $23,000. Pretty big purchase. I mention it because it's when we start talking about 5-figure non-sport, modern non-sport cards, it starts to gain more attention, more outsiders. They are, in fact, the post that I saw from Fanatics Collect, did I mention, I think I said it was on Fanatics Live. Excuse me, it was on Fanatics Collect, the auction platform. But when they made the post about it, they were pointing out just how many other sports cards of big athletes had sold over the weekend, but not for as much as the Elsa. Again, more attention, more eyes, definitely in favor of. The 2024 obviously is not the biggest year, I think, up to this point that Topps has created for the Disney product. Was probably that 2023 product that came out for Disney 100. Those cards, I don't know what an Elsa has or will go for, a one-of-one Superfractor of an Elsa in that product. I can only imagine at least in the 50s, if not more. Honestly, I think it would go for something like that because there's some pretty crazy collectors of that product. We already know, I think it was the Mickey Mouse went for, I think, $500,000 from that product. So I 50, I think, would be very much lowballing it in some circles. So another piece of information. So when I was looking into some of these sketches or artists to come on, Eric was actually the first one I reached out to. There was another gentleman I reached out to who in the future I hope to have him on as well. But as I'm going through some of these Instagram pages, I started noticing something. And this is not because I have any insider information, because I 100% do not. So if this is true, this is theory corner. Okay. I'm going to share a theory that I'm basing off of the fact that I just saw something familiar on multiple different Instagram pages. And that is a Simpsons product seems inevitable. All right. And I'm saying this because after going to multiple different artists' pages, they all, sometime in April specifically, it was mid to end April, they all were posting these sketches of Simpsons characters, doing some different characters, some different genres. It was a spooky version of it. And that could have literally nothing to do with a Topps product. It could have nothing to do with any Simpsons product. It could just be that they were all Simpsons fans, and April just seemed like a good time to start sharing, or one of them shared and then other people started sharing theirs. It could be versions of all of that. However, I am getting very hopeful. I am getting very speculative, but I'm getting very hopeful that we have a Simpsons product somewhere in the works at some point. Because you know what else I saw? I also was seeing from a few months ago, I saw some SpongeBob sketches, and we've already now proven that that is a product that is coming out very soon. So again, I do not know if and when we will get a Simpsons product, but I'm going to at least say the idea that there are that many sketches out there from different artists makes me hopeful. There is another product piece of news that is now official we can talk about. The 2025 Topps Marvel Chrome product is going to be coming out in mid-June. I believe June 16th is the exact date. June 16th will have the release of Topps Chrome Marvel 2025, and this is already been released for an EQL release for cases, and then there was also you could go out there and buy I guess it wasn't hobby boxes, it was blaster boxes. So there's going to be blasters of this product, which I don't know how I feel. Like we didn't have that last year. I like it in the sense that more kids can probably get it, but inevitably, what's going to happen? I mean, it's more than likely going to get bought out by a bunch of adults and yada, yada, yada. It's the world we live in. They're calling them value boxes, I guess, not booster boxes or whatever else they could be called. But again, these have already been sold through the Topps website. This is interesting to me as well that I had no idea. Like I break the product and I had no idea that it was going to be available to everyone on the website last week sometime. I think it was like last Wednesday or so. Today's the 27th of May. So maybe on the 20th 2021st, maybe they had released it. And I don't know how, like I have a Topps account. I thought I was signed up for notifications. I never saw anything about this. I don't know how people get these notifications like, hey guys, just so you know, you can go out there and sign up to try and get yourself a case and or boxes. Cause I'll tell you, the prices that they come out with there are very good. Like, I mean, even comparative to, comparing to breaking prices, those are very good. So I would just encourage, if there's a way for Topps to, let us know how to sign up for this so we can get it in the future. Just to be specific too, this is a Topps Marvel comic series. So this is not a cinematic universe. We don't have like any of the actors or actresses in this product. It's going to be very similar to what Topps UK put out last year. It will have the autographs again, the unique autographs, which are facsimile autographs. They're not real people signing. We already established that. But again, if you think of that more as an insert or something like that, then it's fun. What did Gary Vee say the other day? Don't yuck somebody's yums, which again is an interesting phrasing. I don't know if I've heard that in the last few years, but don't poop on my party. That's what I'm going to say. Don't be my party pooper. If I enjoy it, let me enjoy it. And if you don't, cool. I don't care, and no, you shouldn't care about mine. So that being said, there's a lot of other things that are going to be coming out with it. The thing how do I word this? The thing I like and don't like at the same time is that it's a 200 character checklist. It's a lot. It's a lot of characters. Which, hey, maybe that's great because there's more people that'll find a character or they're looking for characters that they haven't seen in a while. They'll have that in here. They've already put out the checklist, by the way. You can go out and check out a lot of these. You got names that we're all familiar with. The biggest names I think you'll see in there every time. I'd be surprised if you wouldn't. Iron Man's in there. Nighthawk is in there. Professor X is in there. Wolverine. You name it, all the big names are there, but then you've got names like some of these names I'm not even going to know exactly who they are. You've got Fin Fang Foom, Shatterstar, which maybe I've heard of Shatterstar. You've got different variations of characters. You've got I can't find it right now, of course, but there's like a Ninja Venom, not Ninja. Maybe that is it. He has a samurai. Maybe it's Samurai Venom. I'll continue to look for it. You've got other variations of Spider-Man through other multiverses. Then you've got, again, your normal characters as well. So it definitely encompasses more people. It'll be more characters where they'll have like those first appearance stamps on there. I'll go into more of this, especially as we get closer to it. There's going to be a number of similar inserts from the last set. But there's also some added ones as well that I think sound pretty cool. There's also, it sounds like, some original art in this product, not just sketches, but like maybe some inserts that have more original art, which Spidey Hits, who Justin Underwood, who was on the podcast not long ago, actually talking about sketches then too. He had mentioned how that was something that I guess a lot of the community is looking for more of in some of these sets, is like original art, not just like recreations of art that we've seen from the comics. So anyways, all things that are very cool, and I'm looking forward to talking more about. But that being said, I think our guest is about to join again, Eric Medina. Let's go ahead and bring him on. All right, Eric Medina. Sketch artist extraordinaire. That's I think the best description I think I can come up with at this moment. Has joined the Hobby Nonsense podcast, and I'm very for one. I for one am very grateful for this, Eric, because I have been pulling your cards out of products for a while now. I've seen the phenomenal work that you do in many of these products. Specifically for me, I've pulled a lot from Tops, but thank you for coming on. How did you get started into doing sketch artist work?
Yeah, no problem. Glad to be here. I was told to apply for Tops. I want to say maybe 2020, 2019. By the time I applied and all that, I actually reached out to them. I sent them an email regarding a different project I was interested in doing with them. They had hit me back. We couldn't get that project to come to light just because of the value of it. And they already had knew I applied, and they had said they saw my work, they liked it, and then they had told me that they'd be contacting me, 2 to 3 weeks to keep an eye on my emails. And one day I was headed out to San Diego to go, hang out, shopping, go hit up the art store and all that. And I got an email on the way to San Diego, and that's pretty much where it all started. They had invited me to my first set of Garbage Pail Kids.
And how long ago was that?
That was I would have been 2021, I believe it was.
Oh, okay, cool. So have you been drawing your whole life? Has this just been a passion of yours and you've done work outside of this, I assume?
Since third grade, I've been drawing. I took some time off in my early 20s. I just couldn't get anything going, and it got to the point where I just gave I had one art desk at the time. I gave it away with a bunch of brand new materials and old materials, stuff that wasn't even open, and gave it to a few of my friends at the time who I knew growing up who were artists. And yeah, I took off a couple of years in my early 20s, and then maybe when I was 24 I started drawing just like all the time. I didn't Ever since 24 I didn't stop.
Wow.
And I always, had a full-time job, and I would just draw randomly on the side.
And how old are you now?
46.
Okay, so you've been doing this over 2 decades, pretty much full time, it sounds like. That's pretty cool. You've been doing it more recently for Tops, but you also said, I think when we talked last week, you do some for Upper Deck as well. Any other card companies that you're making card sketches for?
Yeah, I been drawing for Upper Deck. I want to say it's 2 years, if I'm correct. I draw for Dynamite Comics, and also, like Tops has all their other properties. They have Star Wars, Disney. I draw for them. Then other small hole in the wall companies, startups. I draw for Masterpiece Cards, Mad Scientists, Lunchbox Leftovers, Carnage Pail Kids, Garbage Chute Droids.
Wow.
I've drawn other projects, like Scooby-Doo, Batman, Transformers, the Goonies, big amount of things.
Do you have a favorite? Like, what's your favorite, I guess, IP, the intellectual property you like most to draw for?
Honestly, it would have to be Garbage Pail Kids and Star Wars.
Really?
Right now. Yeah.
And so this is where we're going to get into some questions where you have to tell me if you either don't want to answer, you can't answer, but I'm just curious about some of how this works. So you are, Tops comes out with a product, or they're working on a product, and they come to you, the artist, and they say, what, like, hey, can you make some sketches for me? Or do they say, hey, here's some pictures, we want you to make sketches that look like this, or can you be as interpretive as you want? Or how does a lot of that process work?
Tops just reaches out by email, says, here's a project. They give you, they offer you a number of cards to do, or or they give you a specific number that, the quantity that has to be met. They tell you the name of the project, give you the rules, they don't give you a release date or anything like that, obviously. They just tell you what they're gonna, what they're offering. And if you're interested, please fill out the submission form, and that's it.
Okay. And then when you offer, or when you're, I guess, filling out a submission form to give them cards, you don't get paid or anything until you actually give them all the final sketches. Is that right?
Yeah, it takes a little bit. They get your scans and your sketches. They get them in. They receive them. You'll get a few emails here and there, and usually about 30 days later, you get paid.
But if they say get your sketches that you've already done, you already made the card, but they don't want that card, like you don't get paid on that, right?
No.
Okay. So then if they are, I don't know. And what's an average order? I don't even know what that would be. Can you enlighten us to
A
like,
minimum, I can give you the minimum. It's usually a minimum of like 25 cards that they require you to do at least.
oh, okay. All right. Is there a maximum number or anything like that?
Not that I've ever heard of, but I they have so many artists, so I know they're keeping the numbers pretty low for the most part. They don't want
Okay.
nobody exceeding too much because they have a lot of people applying, and they got a big array of artists from what I hear.
You draw these figures, you send them in, and then whatever they don't use, you get those cards back. Is that right?
No, we there once anything that doesn't pass quality control, like if it's a character that we're not supposed to do. I mean, you already know they give you a list of what's not allowed. Like all the companies are the same. They give you a list. Hey, this is what's not allowed. This is what is allowed.
What does that
Sometimes
mean?
you
When you
make
say like when you say something's not allowed, does that mean like a specific like R2D2 maybe not on a list, or is it more like
like
you can't draw R2D2 with blood on him or something like that?
yeah, like something like that. Like there's no blood allowed like for Star Wars. Stuff like that. Garbage Pail Kids, they have its own little set of rules, nothing too crazy, just it's all the basic stuff. No violence, no nudity, no sex, no stuff like that. No, character shooting another character, no death scene, stuff like that.
Okay. And then when it comes to because I'm asking this because I've seen some sketches out there where it's like that one artist will make a sketch of say Snoke, and then another one will do another sketch, and it will look almost identical as if they are basing it off of the same picture. Are they ever doing
Yeah.
that, like where they're just like, hey, here's some pictures, you can just like basically take your own version of that picture?
Yeah, there's a few sets that we randomly do, and then they'll supply the pictures and say it has to be from this specific episode or movie, stuff like that. They give us references. They'll try to help us out, save our time.
Okay. All right. So then they're giving you a little direction with it. But if they just decide, hey, you made this sketch and we don't want it, then that's kind of wasted time and effort on your part because you're not getting it back. Is that right?
That's correct, but I mean, for the most part, if your sketches don't get accepted, it's just the luck of the draw. I mean, you know what you're doing when they offer you the job. They you know give you all the info right there in plain English.
Mhm.
It tells you what's expected of you as an artist. You know, don't talk about this, don't talk about that. You know the right and wrong.
Yeah.
They give you a list of characters. I mean, occasionally you might make a mistake and do a character you weren't supposed to do. They let you know. They'll just say, "Hey, it's not going to be included in the release. You're not going to get paid for it. Things happen."
If they're not sending it back, like I would think like maybe it's like, hey, if it doesn't break any other rules, but it's just like a character that wasn't in this product, then they might be like, hey, we'll hold on to it for another one and we'll pay you in the future. Or I don't know. Like it just makes me think like that. It saddens me to think there's like some garbage bin somewhere filled with unused sketches, Like I would hope that they get saved and maybe reused in a future product.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that I mean, a lot of cars get banned. They get their qualities. They have us more likely they have art. They have so many artists. They have them overmade in case there's issues where say they got 10,000 cards from all the artists and X amount were no good. They got to have backup ready. So
Yeah.
occasionally they'll request other cards to be made by artists. They'll send out more invitations. The rules are simple though. I mean, you just, like I said, there's like Star Wars, they don't want no blood, no violence, no sex, nobody smoking a cigar, anything like that. No characters that aren't allowed in Star Wars no more. They don't want them drawn in. Those are automatically going to get tossed out.
Is there a character that you can think of that's like not allowed in there? Because I'm trying to think who wouldn't be allowed that's in the
Yeah,
Star
like
Wars universe.
one I know that everybody knows is Cara Dune. They ask us not to draw her no more. We
Oh,
haven't been
okay.
doing that for years, so it's nothing new, nothing big.
Oh, okay. So ones that are like having issues with, I guess,
Yes,
lawsuits and stuff like that outside of the Star Wars universe. Um,
yes.
what about like the cards that you end up sending into them? You have a number that they're asking for, or a roundabout number that they're asking for, or is it just like however many you feel like you're gonna want to put out?
Yeah, it really depends. They ask you for a minimum, like I said, which is usually 25 or 50 is a minimum. And then you can ask for whatever number you want realistically. It doesn't mean they're going to give it to you.
Okay.
You could say, "Oh, I want 200." They'll give you 100, they'll give you 75. It really depends on them, on how many artists sign up for the projects.
And then do you ever have I don't know if you've seen this, or you're familiar with it. I would hope that you would, but at the bottom of these specifically the Star Wars sketches. So at the bottom of them there's a typeface that'll say Star Wars, but it'll be in different colors. So they've done this thing in the past where depending on the color of the writing, whether it says, Star Wars in silver or Star Wars in purple or Star Wars in black, like depending on that color will kind of denote the level of artistry on that sketch. Are you familiar with this at all?
So what I understand from what I get, there's a on the back of the cards, there's like a black, gold, silver, and blue are all the tiers for like Star Wars.
Okay, yes.
Um, and I know there's other lines that they're doing that with too. And all that you know is just it's the tiers for the cards, the pay. That's all it is.
So, what are they expecting with that? Because I don't know if I've ever gotten a really clear understanding of that. Because some people are like, "Oh yeah, well if it's like the black one, that's the rarest, and that's going to be the best artwork or something like that." But I've seen some of them where I'm like, some of these like just I guess base level, the silver
Yes,
printed ones seem like some of the best ones, and some of the other ones maybe not so much.
technically there's like certain, they give you like a guideline. Um, and a black card. Technically, everybody says the black cards are supposed to be the best. Then it goes like gold, and I believe silver and blue are the same. It goes for different products. Like other ones have like a green in there.
Okay.
Black and gold are supposed to be the best in anything. It doesn't always work out that way. I've seen black cards, and gold cards that the work looks like what you would pick up on a silver or blue card.
Yeah.
And, that's just, it happens. I mean, not much you can do about it. You can only tell the artist so much. And if they abide by, what they're giving out, then, you know,
I kind of wish they would do it where it's like they do it afterwards. After they get the sketches, they determine, like what is better, as opposed to, hey, we're going to give you, 20 black ones. We want these to be extra good or something. And then,
yeah.
because if they do it that way, then you have to wait till you actually see it and then find out, oh, well, it actually was good, or maybe it wasn't. Is that how they do it for you, Eric? Like if you were to get multiple colors, are they like, hey, these we want you to spend a little bit more time on or something like that?
They don't tell you that directly, but the info that we're given, it says pretty much this card needs to be a full colored background card, detailed, yada yada yada. It can't be all in pencil. It can't be in a Sharpie. It can't just be pencil with shading going on. It needs to be full color, detailed, mixed media for the most part.
Got it. Okay, that makes more sense. And how many different styles? I think we talked about this briefly last week when we spoke, but how many different styles will you use in some of these products?
For Star Wars, I use 8.
8 styles. What does that mean when you say style as well?
Okay, like the Clone Wars. I just do those as is, just like the cartoon,
Mhm.
the comic books, just like that. That simple 2D style. I might add a few highlights here and there, nothing special. You're still going to look at it really as a 2D style.
Mhm.
I'll do. I've done the photo realism for Star Wars, but I don't do so many every set. When I do a set, I do a few here and there. I've done like the mid realism. I don't really like doing pencil sketches myself personally. I feel the customer, the client, the buyer, the breaker, whoever is buying these packages and products, they should get the best card possible. Yeah, all my cards aren't top notch, but it's weird because I have people that like the most simplest cards of mine. I have tons of messages through Instagram and Facebook, and people telling me they love some of the simplest styles I do. I'll do car. I've done a few recently and few sets where the cards in pencil, and you'll see you could tell it's got different layers of shading. But I'm like, you know what? I just can't leave it like that. I got to make it stand out. So I've started airbrushing the backgrounds
Oh,
so you
yeah.
can see it'll make the card pop out more. I do a real simple cartoon style. I'll do like another mid cartoon style where it has more detail, and people like it.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I've seen them. I've pulled a few of them myself, and they're very iconic too. Like it's like a circle with the character
Yes,
inside the circle, and then the background is like airbrush, or it's got like some kind of
yeah,
sparkle in there or
we've
something.
those are the ones we talked about. So like those for example, I'll get the cards all in, and for the first day or two, I'll just be signing them, you know, and sometimes I got other jobs to do, so I got to be drawing. I'll go back and sign them, and I'm just sometimes I'll get bored of signing my name, and I had to people are like they see my first original autograph from way back in the days. I've had PSA contact me. I'm all sometimes I get sloppy and the autograph just looks like a hot mess. And they have I think 7 autographs of mine on file, or 6 or 5, something like that. And I'm all, yeah, these ones you will never see again. These are very old. you know,
You were just like tired that day.
or they give us a specific pen to sign with. Sometimes I don't like using them because they take forever to dry, so I'll just use my own pen. I picked up like the other day, I picked up a new one, and I was signing, and then the pen just slipped out of my hand. It left a big old streak, and I'm just like, oh man, I've had that happen numerous times. Or where I'm like, you know what? Let me sign my name cleaner on this amount of cards, but I'm signing like a certain amount of cards. I just get bored of, okay, now I got to start going through them. I got deadlines on other projects. Those cards that you see with the circle, those I use a lot of. They're mainly spray cans and acrylics for the backgrounds. Then I leave them out in the sun. I let them dry. I'll take off the frisket. I'll come back in and start drawing on them.
Man, that's so cool. Well, and sometimes I know, like if we're going like when we were ripping out, we were ripping masterwork just recently, and I would open up a pack and I would see like, oh, this is a sketch in here, and it would have that like signature airbrush look on the side. And I was like, oh, we got a Medina in here. We got a Medina sketch coming up, and then it would be another time where I'd pull a sketch and I would be like, oh wow, this looks amazing. I'd flip it over and I was like, oh, this is Eric Medina too. And sometimes I'm like, are there different Eric Medinas out there drawing? But I think that just kind of goes to the point of like how you're able to do this in so many different styles that it really mixes it up to where it's like it's almost like a different artist doing it at times.
Yeah, I had a lot of people ask me, and that's where I'm going back to. They like all these different styles, and I'm like, I would just honestly, I feel I would get bored with going with one style. If I had more time, I would love to do every card as a photorealistic card.
Yeah. But
Um,
yeah, how could you?
and it's just there's a certain time, strain that we have to finish, and luckily, a lot of the people are liking the where I put the card in a circle. I'll airbrush or spray paint the background. I use acrylics, um, and I like doing them. That it helps. That moves me along a lot faster. But I love doing the ones where they're horizontal, and I'll do a full on scene. Um, I've seen a couple of recent ones laying around, where I'm like, oh, I remember that one. and stuff like that. But if I had more time, I would do every card photorealistic where I'd be like, okay, more than a bunch of these cards are going to get pulled, and I know everybody's going to get it like to me, a perfect card.
Yeah. Well, and so that kind of like brings up a question of like, how much time are you spending on these cards? Like, how long does it take you to create a card?
The minimal card is minimal on a low end is an hour guaranteed. But
Really? An hour?
I do
Wow.
have cards that have taken way longer.
How long would you say maybe one of the longest ones has been?
I've timed myself on a number of different series. Um, Star Wars, it's about 2 to 3 hours a card. I have a few garbage pail kids out there that were 10, 16, 24 hours split in between.
Wow.
Where I don't want to get bored, so I'll go back to them, but I mark my notes on my paper just to see how long I spent on a card. So then I can learn like, okay, I took this long on example a garbage pail kid trifold. I want to do the same quality, but I want to do it faster for the next one. So that's how I keep an eye on a lot of my work. The main part of sketching the card in pencil is easy. It's like a quick, less 10 minutes to 7 minutes a card to sketch it in pencil. But after that, once you start bringing in the pen, you got to keep your lines to a certain amount of clean. Sometimes I'll go quick. And before I finish every card, 98% of the cards I double check before I send them off back out to Tops, Upper Deck, and all that. Dynamite.
So have you ever been like an hour in on a sketch and you're on the coloring side of it and then you just, hand slips or something messes up
Yep.
and then it's like, oh, you got to throw that one out?
I've had that happen, or where I'm in my studio and my kid will come in, or my girlfriend. I'm like, I didn't realize you're here, and my hand will slip, or I'm like, hey, do not do that. I can't afford to mess up on these cards. And that was when they were giving us APs. We don't get APs no more, which is all fine. Fine with me. I know other artists don't care for that, but it don't matter.
What is
You know,
APs?
the artist proof sketch cards that we keep, that we were keeping and selling on the side and making extra money on.
Oh, so what is that? How did that work?
The Tops, Upper Deck. Some companies still give us APs for certain product lines. They would give us our amount of cards that we do for them. They would all go back, and then there would be a little section where you'd have your artist proof cards, and those were for you to keep and sell off. But only you were allowed to sell off once the release was out on the internet. They would let you know, hey, you guys can go ahead and start doing your APs and selling them off.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. But you're saying they don't do that anymore?
Not for Star Wars, but for other project lines, other companies. Like I have APs. I decided not to sell off a lot of my Star Wars till like maybe 2 years ago. I had like over 365,
Wow.
and I finally sold them off. And those ones were, I mean, I had massive amounts of them. Like right now, I have APs for Garbage Pail Kids. I just don't feel like selling any right now.
Mhm.
I have APs for Wacky Packages, Transformers. I've sold a few here or there for people who have asked me directly. Scooby-Doo, I have APs for. The ones for the Goonies, I specifically had a guy ask for them. He's like, I'll take them right now, both. I said, okay, tell me what you want, and I sold them. I have other APs for other companies, not Tops, but other companies that I can't announce yet, that I know will be coming in for other projects. In the last 3 weeks, I've probably had about 6 different sets come in for other smaller companies.
Wow. And so what's your day look like? How much time in a day are you devoting to drawing?
I get up about 8 o'clock. The main days are 8 o'clock, 8:30.
Mhm.
I'll get up, get ready, grab the puppy. I'll take her for a walk around the neighborhood. I get back, I feed her, do all that stuff. By 9 o'clock, 9:10, 9:15, the latest, I'm in my studio with a coffee, a sugar-free Red Bull, and a water. And I'm going until anywhere from 2, 3 in the morning every day, excluding,
Wow.
I'll take a lunch, but my half the time I don't even really take a lunch. I'll go to the kitchen, I'll heat something up or whatever, and then I'll just hang out and eat it in here. Um, I might watch ESPN for half an hour, 45 minutes, eat, get back in here. I'll take the puppy out the rest of the day in the backyard for a walk, here and there to go pee and all that, do her thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I come back in here, I'll give her little snacks. And she goes in my studio. It's connected to my house. So she goes in and out. She pleases.
Oh, nice.
Um, and there's days where I'll be in, like recently, I had a few late nights where I was in here till 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. And then those are the days where I wake up later.
Wow,
But I
man.
gotta knock out stuff. I really don't take days off. The only time, I mean, I'll take off a weekend here or there, but it's not even like a full Saturday or Sunday.
I'm so crazy impressed. Like that's some work ethic right there, and that it just kind of goes to show how busy, how in demand you are that you have that much work to be done.
I I love drawing. Like I mentioned to you, it's it's when I got back in, I think at 23 or 24, when I took off those 2 years, I was, I hadn't stopped since then.
Hmm.
And now it's gotten a lot crazier. I have like a full art studio that I invested a ton of money in. Everything was stripped from the floor to the ceiling to the studs. And I recently just went to the art store, and it was one of the most recent, the biggest purchases I've ever spent in one day on art supplies. And I didn't go in there and buy a couple of packs of markers or pencils or grab a little bit of this and that. I just went and bought full on displays and racks. I bought out the whole rack, and I was walking out. They were helping out with shopping carts and big carts that we were taking off the full displays off the aisles and just buying out the whole thing.
Wow.
Just I draw so much. I'm like, I don't got time to restock and order off Amazon and run to my local art store here and there.
Hmm.
You know,
Now, going through like your Instagram page where you show off some of like the most colorful and detailed work, I am incredibly jealous of some of these pieces because it's like I want them, but I also think like I wonder like are these all like maybe for future sets or are you doing like one-off like commissioned work or how does that work?
a lot of the stuff right now was all the recent stuff in the past few months was either from sets that were released recently or commissions. Um, like there's a commission on my Instagram. I know because I'm looking at it on my desk right now. I gotta ship it out. It's of Captain Spaulding and that girl Baby from Garbage Pail Kids. That was a commission for a good client, a good friend actually, that I've known, and he buys random pieces off me, and he tells me what he wants. So I don't mind selling him my APs. Um, what else? There was like a Joker on there, a Garbage Pail Kid Joker. It's on an unofficial card stock. That one was it was on a Whatnot show the other day. I've had a lot of people asking me to join in their Whatnots and get on board with their Whatnot shows. Um, so that's a big demand for me right now. I have Whatnot shows booked up probably for the next 6 or 7 months. Um, and a few new people that I added in, a few new people that I'll be drawing for. Um,
Man, I'd love to get you. I gotta see if we can get something on Fanatics Live, get you to join one of my
that
breaks or something. That would be
yeah,
amazing.
that Captain America that you see that was just posted.
I was about to ask
Um,
about that. Yeah.
that's a trifold on my official stock. That's an older card stock. Um, that's like an older card stock that I bought. You have to buy a certain amount. I wasn't too happy with it because it was so thin, and I don't like that the ink goes through the back.
Mm.
So I got a brand new super fancy, expensive cardstock with gold foil stamping. It has the ability now where someone clicks on the link on the back, um, you'll see me actually drawing out the card and working on the card.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's really cool. Yeah, because there's a part of me where it's like, I would love to just have you drawing, like there be another video screen while you're drawing and we're just ripping cards. Like people can just watch you draw, I think would be really cool for a lot of guys. The card like this Captain America makes me think, I earlier in this show, I talked about how they've just announced 2025 Marvel Topps Chrome is coming out here in the middle of June. Can you
Yeah.
tell us, like, do you have sketches in that product? If you can't say, it's okay, but
No, you know what? No, I don't think I did any for that. I turned down a few recent invites that they had sent over to me. um, I have other, sketches and other sets that I can't announce yet. Right now, the only things I can announce right now are I got sketches in like smaller stuff, like a company called Mad Scientist. I got sketches coming out, and these are the first sketches coming out for these companies that they've been trying to get me in. I got sketches coming out in Mad Scientist, Garbage Chute Droids, Carnage Pail Kids. I got sketches coming out in the new Garbage Pail Kids set. Everybody pretty much knows about that. That's the only info I can give out on that.
okay. No, that's good to know though. But I mean, like, looking at some of these and like you even mentioned how like that, it's a trifold. Tell me this, is it trifold or is it triptych? Someone said it was triptych or something.
I've heard we call them both the same thing, trifold, triptychs.
Okay. But it's basically just 3 panels.
Yeah, then there's panels or booklets. Like the last upper deck set, I can't mention the name. It had said panos, and then I got them, and I'm like, these aren't the panels I'm used to with the crease in the center. So then I looked on the paperwork once I opened it up, and I had to count verify my cards, and it said a booklet. I'm like, oh, okay, same thing.
Oh, okay. What about like, is there any like innovations in the sketch card world? Like, I don't know, different styles. Cause obviously I think the pano and the trifold or triptych, like those sketches are probably the newest thing when I think of sketches, but I don't know if, from your point of view, if they're doing different things.
Nothing new that I've heard of in the last few years. The only thing that I've seen that uh another company that I talked to yesterday, no, actually yesterday and the day before, I met one of the guys, um, and it's called what's the name of it? Okay, so there's like a loaded card that we used to do for GPK, and they would send us 4 cards, and we would connect them together and make one image, whatever,
Oh,
one big image.
cool.
So that's a loaded is 4 cards. But there's another company that I'll be drawing for soon, and they're doing. They didn't call it a loaded. They called theirs a. There was another name for it, but their idea, and I'm like, how does that really work? Does it work that good? He's like, yeah, you'll see when I send them to you. I think you're really going to be impressed. And so it's 4 cards all together. You don't got to tape them together to hold the picture, your image still. They come all together. You unfold it, and they all pop up together. And I looked at it, and I zoomed in. He sent me a video, and this card looks amazing. I'm like, this is kind of neat. You don't got to take them apart and put them together with tape and make sure everything's lined up. And you open up this card, and it's one loaded. But he has another name for it. Oh, it's
Wow.
called a quad, is what it's called.
A quad. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Man, that's a, well, that I would say that's an innovation or something different. I
Yeah,
haven't seen one
that's
of
the
those.
newest thing that I've seen. That's like the hottest thing that I've seen.
Okay.
There's not much you can do with them. Tops does that 5x7 for certain releases that I've
Yeah.
seen. That's cool. It's the same thing. It's just a 5x7.
Do you feel like in the last few years, the sketch marketplace has gotten more popular?
Yes, there's a lot more artists. Um, there's a lot more stuff being sold, privately on eBay, stuff like that. I have a lot of people, hey, they'll literally ask me, what do you think I should pay for your sketch, for this particular one? And, can I ask you a question? I don't want to offend you. No, ask me whatever you want. I'm open. Um, there's a lot more sketches being sold. They're more popular. Um, everybody wants a sketch nowadays. Everybody wants a full color detailed sketch. Then you have your collectors that they want everything, but they're particular to like pencil sketches, with the blends and the fades and all that good stuff, the layering. At the end of the day, there's so many sketch artists out there. There's tons of different styles, and there's lots of, great artists out there.
Do you feel like with the influx of more, people wanting these cards, that obviously you're going to find more people trying to draw for Tops or Upper Deck or these other companies? Do you feel like the marketplace is becoming more competitive for artists like yourself?
For me, no. I have
You've
I have
probably
a
already
massive
solidified yourself as one of the better ones, I guess.
I
But
have
yeah,
like a massive client list, and I've been backed up on commissions the last, I think I'm going on 3 years now.
wow.
I barely started catching up, and I'm already building up a new list. There's so many artists out there. Is there a lot? Yes. I've met a lot of new ones recently. I've met tons of great artists. I mean, there's enough, art and enough room in the industry for. I mean, this year alone, I would say, there could be 200 brand new artists within. We're just gonna say five or six companies, and you can bring in another 200 or 300. Some people might not agree and say, "Oh, it's not a good idea. That's too many artists." But if you're getting more artists that are good artists and want to get their work seen, I think is great. I think there's room for a lot of artists to be hired in the industry. There's tons of companies coming out. Um, like I said, I draw for numerous companies. There's a bunch of startups that are getting a hold of me that are asking me to design their products like full on sets. At the end of the day, I like seeing a lot of our varieties of art.
Yeah. Yeah, same here. I like a variation of the same character even. Like if it's a
Yeah,
one
that's
character,
exactly.
yeah. I like to have like multiple different versions of that person. I'm curious if you were to give any advice to some younger person getting interested in being a sketch artist, is there any advice that you would give them?
Yeah, actually, I talked to a few new artists last week. And I stay in touch with them. They ask me questions on their art. I was talking to another one yesterday. Um, at the end of the day, I tell them, if that's what you want to do, or you think you want to do, or you have a good idea, whether you do it full time or you're thinking about it, don't give up, don't stop. I never knew it's what I was going to do. I thought about it when I was younger. Trust me, I looked into the whole art college and what they wanted, and by the time I came to a decision with my parents, I'm just like, I don't think it's worth it what they're asking. I think I can do it on my own, but like I said, I never thought of going into it full time. I just happened to get lucky, keep drawing. I posted one image on the internet one day. A bunch of people, a bunch of other Garbage Pail Kid artists had hit me up, said, "Hey, you should apply for Tops." And I just like kind of laughed it off, like, really? And my answers to them was, I've always liked them since I was little and growing up. I collected for a long time, then I stopped. I got back into it. And then I'm like, you know what? I've never drawn this small of a scale. I drew one character. Well, let me see if I can pull this off. And if anybody even says it looks good, I did it. And that's how I got a bunch of questions. And, within that week, I had 22 messages asking me for like unofficial Garbage Pail Kid work. And then I applied, and, I got invitation, and that's where it all started. The artists I've talked to, younger people and even older people are still trying to get in. I just tell them, keep going, apply over and over. Um, you know, if Tops rejects you once or Upper Deck, it doesn't mean they're going to reject you every time. I know people who've gotten 2 or 3 rejections and have gotten in still.
Wow. That's so cool. I appreciate it too, because literally in one of my breaks, there's a family that comes in there, very, very kind, very cool people. and they were saying how one of the younger ones is getting into artistry. He draws like some Marvel characters and things like that. And they showed me, and I'm like, man, this is kid's got some skills. I'm like, what is it? Where does he go from here? And it sounds like, there's options for those younger artists who want to get into this, who want to see their artwork, displayed through, Topps cards or, other industry artists.
It's like I tell like a lot of the new ones that I know, like, younger people, they're like, I tell them all, even if you don't get into Topps, Upper Deck, Dynamite Comics, Rittenhouse, and all these other companies, it doesn't mean your stuff's not good. All that means nothing. If you like it, at the end of the day, that's all that matters. You might not get into Topps your first try, Upper Deck, whomever. You may never get in. As long as you like your work and you're happy with it, number one, that's all that matters. Number two, you're gonna have people that are gonna buy your work, whether you're in a big company or not. I know a few people that they're not in no major name, no major brand, and they're constantly telling me, "Hey, I just sold another sketch card," and they're sending me pictures. I'm like, "Congratulations!" And I ask them what they sold it for, and all that. Or they'll tell me, "Hey, do you think I should charge a little more money if I rather than putting it in a top loader and a penny sleeve and sending it in a bubble mailer? What do you think I can do to make it more presentable to get a little more money?" And I'll give them an easy answer. I say, go buy an Acrytis frame, put it in there. Go buy a one touch. Go get a custom hologram with your name, security label. Put it on that. That makes it look more presentable. I've had a number of artists, young and newer artists that aren't with no big companies, and they're constantly selling their pieces of artwork. One girl I know, she asked a lot of questions. Message me anytime you want. Get a hold of me on Instagram. And she messaged me even yesterday, and she sold 2 more pieces. At the end of the day, I just tell everybody, don't give up. Whether someone likes your work or not, whether someone complains on the internet, you have a lot of people may not like your stuff, but at the end of the day, you're going to have someone that likes it, guaranteed. Whether it's one person, 2, 3, or 10, there's people that are going to like your work, and it will eventually sell.
Nice, man. Eric, thank you so much for coming on here. I have one other question. I kind of saved it towards the end because I'm not even sure if you can answer it. I'm curious, what do the companies pay you per sketch?
That we can't answer.
I didn't think so.
Yeah, no.
I didn't think so.
That's all. The only companies I can answer for, like the big brands, obviously, you know who I'm talking about. I can't answer. There's a company, Masterpiece Cards. They pay well.
Yeah. And you don't have to give specifics, but like, what is that? Like, is well like $5? Is well $100?
There's companies that pay upwards of $20 a card, sketch card. There's companies that pay $40, $50 a sketch card and up.
Wow. What is maybe a low number? I don't know what that would like. $1, $5.
A low number is like $2 a sketch card.
$2. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
$2, $6, $5.
Okay. Yeah. That's
$10 is low a sketch card.
Really? Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, you think about it, especially what you said earlier. If you like, even on like the least amount of work on one of your cards, if you spent an hour, I mean, an hour's time for a professional artist, like and you live in California, I can't imagine, what someone like that would be charging. So, I mean, $10 for a sketch that took you at least an hour to do seems pretty low at the end of the day. But I'm sure there's different, there's different ways how they may look at that. And I'm not here to judge on it, but it is just curious. I was curious what you expect and what you get.
I'm like, everybody's always asking, well, how do you know? I'm just like, honestly, I really don't care. All the companies I draw for, realistically, they all could pay me $2, $5 a sketch card, and I'm fine with it. My thing is, I just want to draw.
Yeah.
I have a company that pays me I do about 5 sketch cards a week, and it's every week consistently. And I get paid $100 a sketch card guaranteed.
Oh, nice.
Um, every 3 weeks, I gotta come up with 1 to 2 uh 5x7s, and I get paid way more. And it's every week guaranteed. These are smaller companies.
And I'm looking at just in the last, I don't know, the last couple weeks, maybe week actually. Like a lot of your V Friends sketches have sold. You have some that sold for $400, 500, 575,
I haven't even. It's
660.
funny. I've been looking for those,
Really?
and I saw one that I think sold for like 400, and then I couldn't find. I saw some other ones, but I couldn't find them. And then I see some on eBay right now that are crazy high,
Yeah,
and
man.
I'm like, I hope they don't sell for that high. You know, I definitely don't want to see nobody paying $2,000, $1,000 one of my sketch cards, because I would personally never sell a sketch card for that much.
No, 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 Eric. You got to say you wanted to sell for $1 million, because here's the thing: as us who break the product and rip the product and open and collect, we want these to be worth like $1 million. So you,
Yeah, I know. I would never let nobody come up to my studio and be like, I'm going to give you X amount of sketch card. Yeah, it'd be an awesome feeling. I don't think that way. I have like I have companies that I design for, or one company that I was designing for a while back ago, and it was like every week I had to have a design, and the guy was paying me $1,000 to 800 every design, and if he wanted it the same day, it was $1,200. Straight into my account. All right, you have till X amount in the evening to get me this design. Before midnight or by 10 p.m., 8 p.m. Sometimes it was like 4 p.m. and I was rushing. But when they pay what they're paying, it's like I'm not going to say no.
yeah, that's hard to turn down $1,200 plus for a day's work. Well, Eric, I'll tell you the transparency and just the overall getting an idea for what a sketch artist does, how it works, and where you've come from is really interesting, not just to me, but I think a lot of listeners. So I really do appreciate, especially when it sounds like you are super busy, the last 45 minutes or so to come on here and kind of give us an idea for what that looks like. So thank you very, very much, man.
No, thank you, guy. You guys for having me. You ever want to have me back? Just let me know. I'm always interested. Yeah, like right now when I get off talking to you guys, I have one, two, three. I have like 7 sketch cards on my desk. Um, those 7 are for one new small startup. I got a couple of 5x7s that got to be out by this week. I got a new set I can't name for Upper Deck that I'm wrapping up. That I got to get out. Dynamite Comics recently got a hold of me for another big release that they'll be doing sometime next year. So I'll be started on that. And yeah, I'll be keeping busy. Bunch of side work, posters I got to do for people.
Wow. Well, and if guys want to reach out to you, if they want to commission any of your work or anything, do they just go to like your Instagram page, or where would you send them?
My Instagram's the easiest. That's the one that I check every day. Facebook, I'll check every now and then, but it's Instagram where I'm constantly trying to catch up with. There, I check for all my messages. Lately, I've been posting lots of new stuff. I've
Oh,
been trying
okay.
to get out all the newer stuff. People's projects. Like I got a guy who commissioned me. He saw a one-of-one card I did for a company, sketch card, and he's like, "I want something similar, but I'll let you do your thing." But I want it in a poster form. I'm like, "Oh, okay. So what size are you thinking?" And it's like an 11 by 14 of Charizard I got to do.
Oh, dang.
A lot of people right now asking me to turn their families into like Garbage Pail Kids, stuff like that.
Yes. Oh man. I'm not gonna lie. I want you to turn me into like one of these characters.
Yeah. Oh man, it's crazy because those are the ones I'm like, oh man, I got to turn a realistic person into a Garbage Pail Kid, or their entire family, and they love them when they're done. They're all happy. Hey, my one guy messaged me. I showed it to my kids. Is there any way I can pay you extra? and you can make me a couple of prints for my kids and sign the back of them. Sure.
Wow. Yeah, that's so cool. Well, if you guys are looking for Eric on Instagram, his specific handle is Medina11_1_studios. Very, very much appreciated for you to come on here, Eric. Thank you again. In the future, hopefully I'll be reaching out for my own commissioned art pieces, but if nothing else, maybe we can just try and get you on a live stream too. So thank you again.
Yeah. Anytime, get a hold of me. You got my info, and yeah, we'll stay in touch.
Awesome. All right. That was Eric Medina. Thank you very much. All right. There you go. Eric Medina, artist extraordinaire, sketch artist specifically for Marvel, Disney, Star Wars, Garbage Pail Kids. Sounds like we're going to see some stuff from DC, hopefully. We got Scooby-Doo. I mean, you name it, right? It sounds like he's doing a little bit of everything. And I noticed as I was going through Instagram looking for other sketch artists, seeing what they're putting out there, a lot of them have similar bios. Now, granted, Eric has like 6,000 followers or something. He is definitely one of the larger ones out there. But it is really cool just to have the ability to, I don't know. That's a skill I don't have. I'm not a good artist. Like I like to mess around and draw, but I don't think I'm talented in any way. To talk to someone who is talented enough to do this as a living, I think is cool to be able to pick their brain. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. But anyways, a couple other things I was just going to mention. One was DC Sports 87. We had Tori on a couple weeks ago, I think. He had mentioned how there is a special going on with TCG cards specifically. So, you know, your Pokemons, your One Piece, I think even V-Friends, even though technically it's not a TCG this release, but I think they're still including it. But all those Magic Gatherings and other TCGs, they are doing a special with DC Sports 87. So if you send those cards into them, you are guaranteed a minimum of a 95% payout for whatever those get sold for. Because as a consigner, that's what they're doing. They're taking your cards, they're selling them for you, and then they're paying you back that money. So 95% through the end of June. So again, if you guys have TCG cards, you're looking to move them, they've been a great resource for me. I use them as whenever I break. Anybody who hits anything that they aren't necessarily collecting, or it's a big card, they want to sell it, I send a package overnight to DC. They list it next day, they sell, and then we send them the money and or they use it for break credit in the future. It's a really cool program. It's something I feel like a lot of consigners should be doing, but I'm glad that they're doing it. The other thing was just to mention Courtyard.io. That's a sponsor of the show. They are continuing to do their vending machine program. You do Pokemon, you do sports, you do whatever you want. You can go out there. There is a slight thing going on with the promo code right now. Apparently, it's been so popular that there have been a few taking advantage of it to a problem, to the point where it's a problem. So they're having to do some workaround on the back end. The site is fine. There's no security issues whatsoever. It's just they've been taking advantage of the promo code situation. So we may be updating the hobby promo code that we've been using. So if you go to the Courtyard.io website, you try and use that for your free full money back guarantee, and it doesn't work, or if you just put in the promo code and it doesn't work, let me know. They are basically making a list of people who tried to use it, and they will allow them to use it again in the future once it is back on. So anyways, that being said, I think that's kind of it. I did want to mention the one thing I found pretty interesting is what the Marvel, the 2025 Topps Chrome Marvel boxes are already selling for, because I mentioned there was an EQL for cases of the product, and then you also had the value boxes that they're selling, which I guess are basically like booster boxes or megas or something like that. But the hobby boxes individually are already going for like $450, close to $500 in some cases. Like cases are going for like $5,000. Here's the thing. It's a problem because I am very torn, because I'm going to break the product and I want to get a lot of this product. I know right off the bat, I'm not going to. I'm going to get very limited supply of it, because that seems to be the new way of doing things, where they offer a couple boxes or something, or a couple cases to the breaker, and then they'll offer a rebuy after they see what the popularity of the product is. I like it in the sense that, oh, I could make money if the product goes up in value. At the same time, coming out so hot when we haven't even seen any of it seems just like, I don't know, that's not sustainable to me. It feels like it's not sustainable to continue to come out with these ultra expensive products. Now, granted, by the time this comes out, I don't really think there's another non-sport product coming out from Topps in between now and then. And it's already been a few weeks since Masterwork came out earlier. So yes, there will be a little bit of lull in the market where maybe some of the demand for non-sport cards, the overlap of buyers who were buying Star Wars and haven't had a chance to get anything else are now going to buy Marvel. Same with Disney buyers. So maybe that'll be okay. But at the same time, it's just $5,000 for a case of this product, and it has not come out yet. Is just it's a lot of money. It's kind of crazy numbers, but I wanted to keep you guys posted on that because it's something I'm going to continue to keep my eye on. Because when I first made a note of this last week, I thought I was going to be commenting on how they were already almost $400, and they've gone up since then. They were like $350 to $375 when they were selling last week. So we got a few more weeks before it even releases, and we got prices this high. Hopefully they cool off a little bit between now and then. Anyways, that is your show, Hobby Nonsense. Again, my name is Jesse Gibson, aka Sports Boy. I do appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you. If you guys want to show support for the show, leave a like, leave a follow wherever you're watching the content, listening to the content. Leave a review on Apple Reviews, preferably with something like positive to say with it. Those messages seem to help. I don't know why. But either way, thank you guys so much. And I'll be back next week. Same great time, same great place. I don't know what that means. All right. Goodbye.